What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We're the NBA podcast of the people. Your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus, Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, it's Chris, Statsman Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey, guys! I got a stat. This stat is insane. So, according to 538's Raptor WAR, Lonzo Ball is the best player so far in the league with a WAR of 1.0, better than anybody else in the league. So, take that.
We are very excited about our Bulls. We'll be talking about them tonight for sure. And you know who's really excited about the Bulls? It's our resident lawn boss, Joey McCroskey. Get that, Joe.
What's going on, everybody? Tomorrow night, Joakim Noah night. We're really going to get that, Joe.
Yeah, this year, one of your boys.
That's right.
And making a sound as delicious as Dove chocolate. Munching on a cookie tonight. It's Adam, the professional Bruns. How are levels tonight, Adam?
It's delicious.
Look at him.
Cookie.
Just bringing in the viewers right there.
The man of the people. Cookie.
What can I say? I know
the
what the people want.
Was that a homemade? Is it homemade? Is it a store bought?
No.
What are we doing?
It's just store bought.
Store bought. That's all right. That's all right. They're good.
Yeah.
Found a really good white chocolate macadamia nut cookie the other day.
Alex Caruso.
Well,
You said you found it, like on the
No,
street. Like,
it was on the street. It was loose. This is a loose cookie. No, it was at Jewel. At Jewel.
Oh yeah, very nice.
I know. I shop at Jewel. It's a little highbrow.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Yikes!
So the
All right,
guy.
you know what? We do host a podcast, so we got it going on.
Target and Jewel. Whoa.
Target and Jewel.
Watch out.
But Joey mentioned Caruso there, and you know, we got to talk about our Bulls, our 4-0 Bulls. Guys, it's going good so far. A couple of tough wins there to start the season with a tough win, and then the last game was pretty close. Almost gave up that 20-point lead to Toronto. DeRozan's homecoming. I have a lot of thoughts on him. Some not so good, but we're gonna get into that debate. I guess we can start there. Just some thoughts. Mostly, I'm just gonna start by saying he's shooting too much. I started before the show. I was talking to you guys. He's shooting way too much, in my opinion. I'm glad that he won us the game on Saturday, but he's shooting too much. Chris, you're kind of been a DeRozan poo-pooer in our group. Give us some thoughts, and then I'm going to fire back some stats to kind of prove my point on why this guy is shooting.
Okay, I'm not this much of a poo-pooer, as you alluded to prior to us going live here.
I did say he was trash prior
thing?
to us going live. So
You did call him absolute trash. He did win us the game with some spin around fades, 3 mid-range jumpers right when we needed them the most, and he delivered. So
he was clutch. I'll give him that.
There is a spot for DeMar DeRozan on this team. I don't know exactly where it fits, but I don't know what to say about him, man. He's fine. The thing about DeMar DeRozan, he reminds me a lot of Ben Gordon. Back when back in the early 2000s, when every time I watch Ben Gordon, I'd be like, no, and then yes, it goes in every time. And I know they're two very different players, but a lot of times I always felt Ben Gordon was very overridden. That's how I'm feeling with DeMar DeRozan. But there's a part, like, I don't think we would have won that game on Tuesday or Monday if DeMar DeRozan was on the team. Zach was not having it. You know, the Zach and Vooch pick and roll was just not feeling it, especially late. Vooch was just not existent late. And so
Vooch has been rough.
Needed DeMar there. And that's kind of why we got him in the first place, was a game like this. So I like DeMar. I just still trying to quantify how he fits in this team.
Joey, you got any quick thoughts on DeMar? I'm just kind of get into my stats.
No, let's get in the stats.
All right. Let's get some stats. So there's a lot of positives. So let me start with some positives for the Bulls. I looked up a lot of Bulls stats. Some positives I really like. All right. Right now they are number 4 in net rating overall, which is really good. That's combination defense and offense. They're number 15 in offensive rating. So a little lower than maybe we expected, but still, a top half team. And then probably the most unexpected thing is they're sitting right now number 5 in overall defensive rating. So the concern everybody had going into the season about can these guys play defense, that hasn't been a problem. Lonzo Ball's been all over the place. Javonte Green's been all over the place. Caruso he's racking up the steals. This team is playing great. They're turning people over. They're the number 4 in opponent turnover percentage. They're getting the ball. They're running. They're playing in transition. It's been good so far for them. Their offense has definitely been struggling, and this is where my concerns come in. Right now, they are 30th, so they're the last team in the league in percentage of field goals attempted from 3. So they are shooting the least amount of threes of all, in a league that is heavily based on 3-point shooting. They're obviously number 1 in 2-point attempts. So that's a little concerning for me. The other things that I saw that is kind of concerning for me when you go to their general stats, every stat for them right now is down. And this was 4 easier teams. I think that a lot of people were saying that it's not the hardest of schedules yet. So it's a surprise that basically all their categories are down except for 2-point attempts, free throw attempts, steals and blocks. So steals and blocks are up, which is great. That's showing that they're getting out there defensively. But every other offensive stat is down from last year, which is surprising considering we have a lot of guys. And then it'll get into my DeRozan stuff. And this is kind of my worry kind of going into the season, is that DeRozan was going to end up being the focal point of the offense when the starters are out there. And he is. He's shooting 18 shots a game compared to Zach's 17. And he's shooting at 41% versus Zach's 50%. So he's putting up more shots, shooting a lower percentage. I kind of get that they're trying to get him going early on. They're trying to get Vooch going early on. I mean, Zach hasn't scored until middle of the second quarter of the last 3 games. So just based kind of on those stats, what do you guys think? Joey, let's start with you, man. What do you think about that going in before I drop some more of his other shooting stats I have found?
Yeah. So no, it all seems right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to maybe revert back a little bit to what I was doing last year with a certain unmentioned player that hasn't played yet this season. But the eye test, I don't think, is quite living up to the stats. So I think when you're watching the game in motion, you're not seeing as much of that pain as it looks like. It is weird that Levine is not scoring until the middle of the second quarter in every game, but it's also not. You would think last year, if he wasn't scoring until the middle of the second quarter, that they would have been down, 10, 15 points. So I think there's got to be this balance of Levine being aggressive to start games and getting himself in rhythm and letting the other guys come along. My other thought on DeRozan is I'd be curious, and this is a deep stat. I don't even know how long it would take to go this route, but how much of his field goal percentage or how many of his misses and shots are coming when he's not on the floor with centers or centers with starters, when he's not on the floor with the starters. So like when that second unit is in, there doesn't seem to be a lot of actual offense being run. It seems like it's more of ISO ball or let DeRozan kind of get in the mid-range and do his thing. So, I'm hoping that, yes, I'll say it, with Kobe eventually coming back, that there will be a little bit less for him to shoot, as Kobe will take some of those shots, you would think. That should also increase your 3-point attempts, you would assume, with somebody like him coming in the game. I also think, too, that without the Bulls having to play from behind and look to one person to score, and Zach, that he's not relying on threes to get him back in the game. I wonder how many, again, last year of their 3-point shot attempts came from Levine, just kind of doing his little ISO ball step back 3-pointer, which he was pretty successful at last year. The only other thing I'll throw on, this is kind of a Debbie Downer, and I think we're trying to maybe all temper our expectation or temper our feelings around our 4-0 Bulls right now, but I'm a little disappointed in Patrick Williams so far.
Yeah.
I said it, I think, last week that I want to see more, and I'm still just not seeing that excitement and that energy come from him. I think if he can get some more offense, that would also help kind of balance everything out. It just seems like it's either DeRozan is going to get all your points, or Levine's going to get all your points. Vooch has been consistent point wise. I know he's got a lot of other issues, but I mean, he's putting up his points, he's getting his stats. But in terms of actual impact and efficiency on the game, Vooch is not doing what he needs to be doing as a whole. All that being said, their defense has been absolutely stellar, leading the league in steals, 10.3 steals a game, defensive rating 97.7. That is, I think, second best in the league. What's scary part in the defensive stats looking at here, opponent points in the paint, 49.5 points per game they're giving up in the paint. With their upcoming schedule, I know we'll talk about this towards the end, but there's going to be some center play that they're going to have to figure out how to handle, because right now Vooch isn't the guy to be giving you a ton of defense in the paint, and I don't know if Alize Johnson's got it either.
No, they definitely have some concerns on the inside. That was another stat I have written down. They're 30th in the league in opponents' offensive rebounding percentage. So, the opponents they're just getting outboarded a lot, and it's, creating second chance points, and it's kind of where they're struggling a little bit. Chris, did you have any other kind of general thoughts on DeRozan and maybe kind of how that offense is running right now before I get into a couple other more specific shooting stats for him and Vooch?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it feels like the Bulls aren't 4-0 right now. We're so down on them because of DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah,
DeMar DeRozan won them the game. This is great. Like, they're winning the games they're supposed to win. They're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that's what basketball games, when you actually, they should have blown that lead against Toronto, to be honest. They beat the Pistons. Obviously, the Pistons without Jeremy Grant and Cade Cunningham, but the fact is they still beat them twice, which if you ask the Timberwolves, can you beat a team twice? No, you can't, even if it is the Pelicans. And then they beat the Pelicans. They're still winning these games. So I'm excited that what the Bulls are. They are kind of, I mean, defensively, they're better than everybody else was expecting. I think we're all kind of expecting them to be what they are defensively, because they've never been really that bad defensively. And the offense just needs time to gel. So DeMar's taking a lot of shots early. He's actually, 3 field goal attempts per game higher than he has been the last few years. And I expect it to go down, especially with Joey's point on, our beloved Kobe White. I'll say his name, will be coming back eventually, and he'll help anchor that second unit, provide some more scoring, because really that second unit has no scoring
other than DeRozan,
anywhere.
Yeah.
Other than DeRozan's a starter, right? We got Caruso, we got Green.
And
so
going back to the eye test part of it, when the second unit is in and DeRozan is kind of running that unit, I actually don't have any problem with that. Where I kind of have issues with him is it seems to be running through him right now for that first part, which is, when the starters are in. And that's kind of where I think, like what you're talking about, Chris, the offense just needs to gel a little bit better, figure out how they want to incorporate Zach and DeRozan and Vooch. I mean, they got a lot of mouths to feed. We've kind of talked about this stuff in the preseason. It will be interesting to see how they get going. But I just think you got to get Levine shots earlier in the game. And the one thing I do like is a positive is that it feels like he's more picking his spots, which is great. Like, I think it was, I forget which game it was that he had the 20 points in 6 minutes, but that was like, they needed him for a second and he turned it on. And that's what's great. And I love that he's not having to expend so much energy to get these wins, keep them in games. That stuff is all great. I just, we kind of are hinting at, we're going to talk about at the end of the podcast, the next 13 games. That's where I look at, you're going to start to take some L's when you play better teams because of the way they're playing. So I brought it up in our group chat that we should take a drink or a shot anytime Vooch misses that little 3-foot bunny. And Joey said, do you know any liver transplant providers? Which is true. So here's a couple of detailed field goal, or like some shooting stats I found for Vooch and DeMar that are, again, concerning to me. One,
DeMar, the new stats man.
Man, I went deep in these Bulls stats. I think because when the Bulls are good, I get so sucked in, and I was going to say,
I wonder how much of this is the fact that they're actually good, and besides me watching just as a hopeless fan, you guys are actually locked in on these games now too.
Yeah.
So you're seeing,
you're
paying much more attention to it.
That's what
I actually understand why now. I was going to say, I understand why Tice never wants to go to Vegas now, because he gets so excited on things. If he was in Vegas, he'd be like, "Oh, just put it all on red. Let's go.
Oh hell yeah, let it ride.
Let it ride."
drinking canned vodka drinks. He's ready to let it ride.
Canned vodka drinks. This is what I mean, man. When the Bulls are good, I get sucked in. And this is why I tell you guys every year, like, don't let me get sucked in. I'm gonna get sucked in. I'm gonna get my heart broken. It's gonna be bad. So this is what's starting to drive me nuts, because I've already said I'm on the Joey plan. All 82 this year. I'm watching all 82 because this is fun. They're a fun team to watch, and I want them to be good. But DeMar and Vooch are 4th and 11th in field goals missed in the league right now, so that's a problem. You need to start making some shots, and the percentages are pretty bad.
Who's first?
I didn't write that down, but I should look that up. That's actually pretty good. But I think it was a lot of like, I should take that back. I'll look that up at some point. But Vooch, he's shooting right now 46% from 0 to 3 feet. And then, like I was saying, the 3 to 10 foot range, he's shooting 26%, man. So in that real just outside of the restricted area, kind of in the paint section, he's terrible. DeMar, very similar. He's shooting 50%, 52% right at the rim, 0 to 3 feet, and 25%, 3 to 10 feet. Not good. If you look at Vooch, now you step back a little bit, 10 to 16 feet, he's shooting 71%. So, like, I don't know what it is about that little bunny hook. Whenever he figures it out and just gets that little bit of lift on it, he's going to start carving people up, and I'm actually hopeful for that. I don't know what to do with DeRozan, because even if you look at, like, everybody says he's a mid-range guy. Well, he's shooting 48% from 10 to 16 feet and 30% from 16 feet to 3-point range. And if he gets past the arc, 3-point range, he's shooting 37%. So he's a better 3-point shooter than he is that 18-foot mid-range that he's supposedly, really good at. So there's the thing where I'm like, dude, just step back, take that more, efficient shot in the 3-point range. You're shooting it at a better clip anyway. There's some stuff like that. And then for some reason, these guys have got to figure out what they're doing in that 3 to 10 foot range, because they're both shooting, under 30%, and that's not good.
Wow.
So, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's a small sample size to start, but I do appreciate you finding those stats, and it helps. Even though they're 4-0, there's a lot they're lacking, and that you got to make those shots. The 3, that sucks.
Yeah,
so,
you got to. I mean, especially Vooch. DeRozan, that might be like runners or something like that. That 3 to 10 foot range. It might not be his pull up jumpers or something like that. But Vooch is getting those off that pick and roll with Zach. He's getting really good looks at the rim. He's just not converting those little baby hooks. So you think we did enough Bulls talk, or you guys want?
We got a Bulls. I got a question that's not in the chat, but it's from a guy who has listened to us before.
Oh,
and
a loyal listener.
Big Daddy Kumquat, I see you.
Big Daddy
feel free to comment in here. Anyways, question is Lonzo the greatest thing to happen to the Bulls since Derrick Rose?
Ooh.
I think at least point guard wise, because obviously Zach LaVine,
Zach LaVine just doesn't count.
Kind of better.
So I think, yeah. So the only thing I'll say that's different from LaVine is LaVine has been a slow play.
Okay, yeah.
Like, LaVine did not make an impact immediately when he walked in the door, right? His first season, 2 seasons, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, the Bulls are much better
from
team.
That ACL. He was also,
Yeah, true. I mean, but Lonzo has come in and has immediately made them a much better team. I know their offensive stats, efficiency-wise, stuff aren't quite showing it. Titus, you mentioned they're down and everything, but yeah, I think that's probably a fair call. I mean, he runs the offense well. It's fun to see them actually run the fast break with some actual like skill. It's not just this out of control kind of frantic attempt. There's some movement, and you kind of feel like Lonzo's going to make the good pass. There's definitely some work for him to do, I think, overall in his game. At the end of the game, throwing that ball to Vooch in the backcourt was
that was rough,
depressing. I don't understand how that happens, but yeah, I think that's a good question. I think it might be since Derrick Rose. The only other thing I could say is maybe Jimmy Butler for a little while, but he was also there when Derrick Rose was there too. So I don't know if you can compare those two together.
I love Lonzo Ball. I thought when he got signed that was the guy I was going to be a little out on. I thought DeRozan would be the guy I'd be a little high on. That is not the case. I love Lonzo. He is a great, like in my opinion, a great defender. I don't know if he can sneak into like maybe an all defensive team the way he's playing, but the way he gets his hands in passes, the way he deflects balls, he just has his timing is great. And I love the way like he goes after block shots like ferociously. He swings his arm hard. It's great. He's got a little bit of a swag to him that I think is perfect. And I think he's a pure point guard, and we haven't had one of those in a long time. And he's a great, playing the point great, exactly what the Bulls needed, shooting the three well, and I've been very impressed with him defensively.
One thing I'll say about Lonzo, I've never seen someone defend so aggressively with his hands down. I don't know if you guys know that all in the game. Like he's kind of like shaking when the clock runs down. The guy just kills it, and he's been exactly what I had hoped for. I still see like he's not a number one option. He's the perfect three player on a championship team because he can command the offense. He can make the right passes, do all the dirty work stuff, and still have that swag, even if he's only scoring like 10 points a game.
Him and Caruso have been great. Like I love those two additions. Those two guys.
Caruso, dude. Like Caruso.
Yeah.
Caruso's the man.
He's the man, and
he's legit.
Those guys that alone are leading to all this improvement defensively because those guys are everywhere. Them and Javonte Green.
Caruso knows every pass coming from the opposing team. I feel like it's so fun to watch.
Well, there was that one he jumped a pass against the Raptors, I think, late, and even Stacey called it. He's like turnover, like even before the ball was in the air. He's like he saw Caruso saw it, and it was over. So yeah, no man, I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful. I think this is a top 6 team in the East, in my opinion. Watching them, we'll see if that actually plays out. But
other comment that this NP Nate he won't put in the chat, but I'll read it here. He says that I'll tell you, LeVar Ball obviously is very proud. He's got a kid playing for Jordan, and another one hoping to make fans forget about Jordan. So
I don't think we'll be.
What a time to be alive for LeVar Ball.
Oh man, Lonzo Ball gonna get a statue.
Gonna get a statue out front.
Start minting the statue right now.
Get it going.
Those 14.3 points a game. Woohoo, man.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Well, I think 20 minutes on the Bulls up front is good enough for us.
We'll talk about more at the end, but
we still got more.
Come back for
more. Still got more
Bulls
coming.
talk at the end. Dude, I feel like we're going to be a borderline Bulls podcast by
the box out season. Bulls.
The box out Bulls. All right, let's transition into the jump ball. These are we're going to talk some games from around the league.
Insert special effects graphic.
Yeah,
boop,
Adam, you got this?
Need to blow a whistle.
He's got it. We'll do it in post. Adam will do it in post. He's the man.
He's got chocolate fingers from the cookie.
Chocolate
You're gonna make me do something. I already listened to this whole thing.
The mute button today.
Because I had to save your last podcast, guys. Did you not?
I was gonna say I don't have everything queued up. I mean, I can.
You can do it.
What do you want? You said a
whistle.
Do I have a whistle? Right?
What's the start of a game? A whistle? I don't know.
Do I have a whistle?
Jump ball.
Jump ball.
I have gavel hits.
Aren't you like an audio guy with all these special
sounds?
effects?
I have a bell.
No, definitely not that one.
Maybe I can make it. I can't have some claps. If that makes it feel better.
Oh, we need like the
anything. I just want to hear what it is. It'll be great.
Like the little sound they play in the background of games when they start going. Little.
I don't know what sounds.
Maybe not the meow. Is
Maybe
that
not
meow?
There it is. All right, we're ready to go. School's in session.
Do it. Oh, we did that for the schools in session.
NBA 101.
We need a different sound effect. That's not going to work.
Well, okay. Adam's on it. He's on the case.
I'll be on it.
He's going to go to the dark web and find us a whistle sound. All right, going from one ball, brother, to the other. The game that I checked out this weekend was the Hornets versus Nets because I had to check out LaMelo Ball. That dude is good. He's a little better than Lonzo, but a little younger too. So
Just
he's awesome.
A little bit better.
It's a little bit better.
The younger ones are always more athletic.
The Nets lost this game, surprisingly, 111-95. That's why I'm a little nervous about the Hornets. Mikal Bridges was awesome, 32, 9 and 2. The Nets scored
Miles.
Miles, yeah, sorry. Okay. Excellent. I didn't read what I wrote there. The Nets only scored 37 points in the second half. Even though Harden was kind of flirting with a triple-double, he didn't look great. Which is kind of interesting. He wasn't getting the foul calls that he's used to. And then 38 from Durant, man. What else can you do with those guys? If Durant's going for 38. Patty Mills only had 5 points off the bench this time. He wasn't as hot as he was in the first game. So that was a game I watched. Very interesting. Chris, hit us with the game you watched, man.
That's kind of wild. The one thing I'll say about that game is Miles Bridges having his come out party this year, by the way. He's the best player on the Hornets. Everyone's going to talk about LaMelo Ball, but Miles Bridges is the reason why that team is going to make the playoffs. Yeah, potentially above a 6 seed.
LaMelo is going to be really good.
They don't even have Hayward right now.
Hayward's Jr. back, yeah.
Is he back?
Hayward's there too. He's fine. But Kelly Oubre Jr., he's on that team too, starting, get some minutes. But their center is kind of sus. They got Mason Plumlee.
Yeah. Just
and PJ Washington backing him up, who's 6'8", 6'7", whatever. Anyways, game I wanted to talk about, my favorite game. I'm going to be talking about this team a lot this season, so just get ready. They're 2-2 right now. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got Cavs versus Hawks. This game should have been highlighted across everything. It's one team who's greater than the sum of their parts versus the team that their separate parts are greater than the whole. Yes, I wrote that down so I can get that correctly done. I said
got
it perfectly.
Just right.
Got it just right.
I still don't get it, but it's good.
This game and every game that the Cavs have played, even since preseason, Lauri Markkanen is starting at the 3 with Evan Mobley, Kevin Love, not Kevin Love, but Jared Allen at the 4 and 5, and then Kevin Love comes in at the 4. So Lauri's at the 3 the majority of the game, and it's working because Colin Sexton is so athletic. That guy's just backing up, moving around, doing what he needs to do to be athletic. Darius Garland's hurt too, guys. The best player in this team's not even playing yet. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be so good. This is insane.
This is his team, his backup team.
This is kind of my backup team now. Like, you just have so many guys. CD Osman, obviously, he's not as good as what they were hoping he'd be after he was working out with Kawhi and LeBron a couple years ago, but he's still there getting minutes. Ricky Rubio is the reason why the Cavaliers are going to make the playoffs. That veteran presence on that team, it really showed in this game against the Hawks. The guy hit some clutch shots and really carried the team. So I am really high in the Cavs. The fact that they beat the Hawks, I was shocked by, even though it was at Cleveland. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I love the chat. Appreciate that hashtag Cavs reaction. That's going to happen a lot. Let's go.
We'll keep that
They're
hashtag
2-2, guys. I'm the only guy not surprised by it.
Chris has been calling it. He says it every year.
Seasons in a row.
Got some guys. Well, we'll go from Chris's backup team to my backup team, and that's going to be the Grizzlies and Ja Morant specifically. I'm going to try to catch as many of his games as I can. I think I've moved on officially from Ben Simmons and Kyrie as my point guard loves to LaMelo and Ja. Man, that dude is fun. That dude he's got all kinds of nasty running through his veins. And he's just ridiculous, man. They lost to the Lakers, but Ja missed a crucial free throw late that would have tied it up. But that's okay because he had 40 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists. Ridiculous game from him. Everything he does is highlight plays. He plays, shades of Derrick Rose a little bit. Maybe a taller, a little more lanky, Derrick Rose, but just an aggressive, get into the basket kind of guy, circus shots, everything you want in a point guard, a scoring point guard anyway. And man, he looked great. Carmelo looked like vintage Carmelo in this game with 6 for 8 from threes. He had 28 points. Lakers will be okay. I know they've started off a little rough, but him and Russ are going to figure it out. I think AD is going to figure it out, and LeBron's going to figure it out. So they'll be okay. But definitely, Memphis is a team that I want to be watching this season. I mean, Memphis won the second half of that game. The Lakers just held on. They had built up a decent lead going into
Ja got 40 in that game.
Yep.
What's your guys' take on Paul George saying Ja Morant is he reminds me of Derrick Rose, and Paul George obviously played against Derrick Rose was in Indiana his rookie season, so he has a pretty solid firsthand experience on it.
I think that's a comp I've been hearing, and the comp that I see is Rose, a little bit of Iverson maybe, and then there was somebody else I thought of when I was watching him, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it's very, very Rose. I'm just that guy that he can control a team and be a number one guy from that point guard position, and that's rare.
I think it's tough to control the game without being able to efficiently shoot a 3-pointer, and Ja's kind of that guy that can still do that, right?
Yeah, and he's kind of getting his three down a little bit. I didn't look up his percentages, but I know he hit a couple of threes in that game when I was watching that one.
It's the Derrick Rose mentality. Started off as a dunker and in the paint player, and slowly spread the game.
I mean, I don't know if his game necessarily reminds me of Rose, but like what you're saying, Joey, about the mentality reminds me of Rose. Just that guy that he knows he can play, and he knows he can. I mean, like that famous quote from Rose of "Why not me?" before he won the MVP. That's just what I feel about John Morant. He just kind of got that, like, yeah, why can't I just be an awesome player? Why can't I be a superstar? And I think he plays that way. I mean, even there, in that game against the Lakers, going up against AD, LeBron, and Russ, and I know that team's pretty decent. They got some players, but he's the guy on that team, and he kept him in it. So,
yeah, that was a weird game. I'm looking at the box score. I remember seeing that Carmelo's the reason they really won that game with 28 points off the bench.
Yeah.
Random stat of this game: Austin Reeves got a plus 28, plus 18, compared to LeBron's -1. So, I don't know if that tells you anything about that game.
Gotta love plus minus.
Gotta love it.
The true stat.
One other game. Sorry.
Chris has got games, right?
What's that, Adam?
Froze up.
I think I found one.
Uh-oh. Here we go. That'll work.
That sounds like the family.
I know, it sounds like a laundry machine. I'll put some reverb on it. It'll be fine. That's the only one that's Creative Commons license. That's what we're using.
I got two other games I wanted to talk about during our jump ball session with Adam's sound effects work in progress. I'll put them back. Warriors versus the Thunder. The Thunder tried in this game. I think I listened to 3 podcasts today or in the last couple of days. Low post, Bill Simmons, and no dunks. They ask the same question every time. Are the Thunder going to win more than 10 games, or are they going to go 73? And I don't know, man. It's kind of annoying, but at the same time, the Thunder look competitive at least to try to win. And I really thought they were going to beat the Warriors, but the Warriors did this classic, their classic third quarter route where they just went crazy and just clicked it together. Otto Porter hit a couple threes. The dude had the biggest smile. I forgot how wide his face gets when he's actually happy because it was in Chicago and he didn't really care to be there. But of course, now in Golden State, he's killing it.
Now he's doing it.
He had 2 threes, one that took the lead and the one that extended the lead. And they never looked back from there. I mean, the Thunder kept it kind of close, but at the end of the day, the Warriors still pulled it out.
Warriors just too good
by like 8, I think. And the contrary to the Warriors and why the Warriors are like a top 4 team in the West is the Timberwolves, who went up against the Pelicans, who still do not have Zion Williamson and just have Jonas, Devontae Graham, and Brandon Ingram dropping 20 plus against them.
A little 3
and Karl-Anthony Towns. And then the big 3. The little 3 versus the big 3 of Towns, Russell, and Edwards couldn't get together. It's a growing moment for the Timberwolves, maybe. There's some headlines talking about Anthony Edwards is really going to be taking up a leadership role. And it's kind of weird to say that after a game that they lost. We'll see what happens. But Timberwolves got some work to do. They're 2-1. They're beating the Bucks right now. And I think they're going to win this game. It's 94-79 right now, entering the 4th.
Oh,
Let's go. But
79 points from the Bucks.
Yeah, so my point is the Warriors are here to stay.
Yeah,
no one's surprised by that. And the Timberwolves, it's everything's kind of just happening the way you thought it would so far. No, except the Cavs, but the Cavs obviously, I knew that.
Well, you knew that. The Warriors, the Warriors and Bulls, only teams that are 4-0 right now. So we'll see.
And there's one more.
Go ahead. One more game.
There's
or
one more team that's Utah is 3-0.
Oh, Utah.
Oh, you said 3-4.
I said 4-0. Yeah, only 4-0 teams. Yeah, you got to get to 4-0 Utah before you can start comparing
Well, you
yourself to
can
the
start-
Bulls.
That's right. I got a
Hey, you haven't
question
done
for you
anything.
guys.
That was just good, man.
Utah's
Bojan
good.
Bogdanovic. I forget the Bogdanoviches are just these guys that you forget are good, and then you watch them. It's like, oh man,
They're
so
a team.
talented.
I'll probably check in on them just to see how they. I mean, especially when they play the Bulls in a couple of days. But they're the team. I will not care about anything about them until the playoffs. You guys got to do it in the playoffs, man. They could be a 1 seed, 2 seed, doesn't matter.
100%.
Playoffs are bust
They're
for
the
them.
Pacers of the East back when LeBron was there. And yeah, anyways.
Yep. Joey, any games you want to move on to our the 75 players list talk?
No, I don't have any games, but I have a question for you
Go
guys.
ahead.
So as I was
Yes.
listening to you guys talk through your games, the teams you were naming occurred to me that there are some power duos on these teams. So I got 4 duos.
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
I'm going to list them. I want you guys to rank them in your order of best to worst. Okay.
Okay.
Durant and Harden, Gobert and Mitchell, LeBron and AD, and Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns.
Chill, LeBron, AD, and Cat and Edwards. Who?
Who's the other one? The fourth one?
Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay, go.
I have LeBron, AD number 1,
Mm-hmm.
Durant, Harden 2, Gobert, Mitchell 3, and Edwards and Cat 4.
Okay.
The only thing I'd switch is the top 2. I think Harden and Durant's a more lethal duo than AD and LeBron.
I mean, AD and
do
LeBron
I?
won a title.
That's a tough one, man. I don't know. Like
That's a tough. I mean, that's a tough one.
yeah, AD and LeBron at least won something, right? What is Harden?
That's the only reason why I
AD
gave it
done
to him. I was like,
besides
they won the
foot on
title
line?
already. Yeah, KD.
I think there's
his
more
big toe.
potential with. Well, I don't know. Donovan Mitchell's he keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, but Gobert.
You know, do you want Anthony Edwards and Towns over Gobert and Donovan?
I mean, not right
I don't
now.
think you would.
I think Cat and Edwards have the most potential of that group. Maybe at least potential left. I mean, like AD, LeBron, you know who they are. Durant, Harden, you know who they are. Gobert and Mitchell are great, but they have to prove it. And then Cat and Edwards are still young enough that they can kind of maybe move up a little bit. Like I can see them. Go ahead.
The one thing I feel like I'm seeing with Gobert, and I've watched I think 2 of their games this year, or just kind of caught pieces of it, is if you don't have somebody Gobert's size, there's no stopping him unless he stops himself. It's like last night when Jokic went down with his injury, there was no real presence to slow down Gobert in the paint.
Yeah.
And I feel like with some of the other ones,
That's why they're such a good regular season team, because they win those
which
games,
is like
like
in the LeBron and AD, you can take out one of them, maybe. Like you can try and take out one of them. They haven't had much luck this season, but like over history, right? I feel like if you've gone after one, same with like Durant and Harden. If you go after Harden, right, you put all the load on one.
Yeah.
And like you can't really take out Gobert because he's just so massive. I don't know. It was weird. I was just.
It's interesting. No, it's very.
As you guys were like talking, you're mentioning these teams, and I was like, wow, each of these teams have like a top 2 players that are like, those are the ones right now that everybody's talking about.
Yeah,
those are the guys.
I would say that list is very interesting. Is Cat and Edwards, because I mean the potential there is really good. I mean they haven't done it yet as a duo compared to these other 3 duos. But for sure, that's maybe the most, like if I was drafting a duo or something, they might be higher on the list.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
Good little comment on it.
Sure.
All right. With that, let's move to some top 75 players. I don't know if you've heard that the NBA dropped a top 75 players list. Let's see if
it's a good transition.
Good transition. All right. The next 13 games for the Chicago Bulls, we've said this is going to be a tough series. Just real quickly, what do you guys think these guys come out of? What is their record after the next 13? Joey?
I have them winning 5 games. So my original preseason pick had them winning 5 games out of this. That put them at 9 and 8. 9 and 8. I think I'll probably up that to winning 7 games out of this.
Ooh.
So that'll put them at 11 and 7.
Nice. All right.
11
11 and 6.
11 and 6. I'll have them at 11-6 coming out of this. I think they're going to get
come out of this.
So I've got them. Sorry, I'll just go quick. I have them being the Knicks, the 76ers once, the Mavs, and the Warriors, and the Knicks again. I'm going to have them also beating the Blazers and the Celtics.
All right. So you have them 11-6 coming out of this 13-game
Let's
stretch.
go for it. Let's do it.
Chris, what do you think, man?
You said 9-6. Is my math just off? I'm thinking I have 5 wins. I have 9. Oh, I have 9-8. Yeah, 9-8 for me.
9-8 for you. I have 10-7 for me. So we're kind of right in that range.
I like this. Yeah,
I like this. We'll see where they end up.
So we're all pretty confident after we spent a half hour saying they've got some work to do. We think they're going to figure it out.
I'm confident in the Bulls. I just to me, I think my expectations have been risen. I mean,
we're holding them to a higher standard now.
Yeah, you're not. To me, this team should not be in the play-in tournament. This team should be.
They should be better than that.
They should be better than that. At the very least,
and I think the defense has really shown that. Well, the defense will be tested now. I think tomorrow against the Knicks will be nice. Utah, man, there's so many games.
I know.
They're on NBA TV, which is great for me up here in Minnesota.
Yeah, are you losing your League Pass free trial yet, or no?
I think so. I don't know. It's still on Yahoo Sports, so I've been able to watch it through there on my phone. I might just get League Pass, guys. Pay the $200, maybe $250 for the in-arena stuff. Get that content. Yeah. Well, it's mostly just dancers, but sometimes you get some spin discs on a unicycle, which is kind of cool.
All right, what do you guys want to call here? We're running a little long for us.
We hit the hour mark.
We hit the hour mark.
We hit the hour. Nice. Good job, boys.
Good job. Good job by you. Sorry.
Good job by you, Chris.
Do it one time. Shout out to Bill Simmons. All right, well, that is it for us tonight. Join us next week to talk more NBA basketball. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Join us live Wednesdays at 8:30, 8:25, whenever we kind of get started. Send us an email to theboxoutboys at gmail.com. Slide into those DMs. And as always, like, subscribe wherever you're listening to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out!
Hey, thanks, Big Daddy Kumquat. Good show.
Stop the audacities.
The audacity's been stopped. We'll stay live stream. Good show. Thank you.
The audacities.
Audacity. I felt it was a solid show.
It was a good one.
We had a lot to talk about.
What episode are we on? 37?
37. Getting up there, guys.
Maybe.
If you're hanging out in the chat, feel free to comment.
50 mark.
50. I know, man. We're almost there. Export. Wait.
We're going to get so many Buzzsprout badges. They mean nothing, but we're going to get it when we get to 50.
We are. I didn't even think about that.
The Thunder might beat the Lakers. Are you guys following this?
No. I'm watching.
I'm glad we didn't talk about the Lakers. I hope we don't talk about the Lakers that much.
Did I bring them up? I don't think I did, right?
No.
I brought them up. They're
just
another.
Briefly.
Yeah, they're another team.
Are we still live? You want to end up? Can you end the broadcast?
We can end the broadcast. All right, hold on.
Later, Big Daddy.
Later, Big Daddy. I'm trying to. My stupid thing is not letting me get out of here.
Adam's warning us 5 minutes till an hour. He's like, I don't want to edit this.
I'm
bullshit.
just trying to keep us on track.